The agricultural revolution, the quiet transformation that changed the course of human history. Few events in human history have reshaped civilization as profoundly as the agricultural revolution. Unlike dramatic military conquests or political upheavals, the transition from hunting and gathering to farming unfolded gradually over thousands of years. Nevertheless, its consequences were revolutionary. It transformed humanity's relationship with nature, encouraged technological innovation, gave rise to permanent settlements, and laid the foundations for cities, states, and the modern world. Without agriculture, there would have been no great civilizations, no written history, and no complex societies as we know them today. For most of human history, people lived as nomadic hunter-gatherers. Small communities traveled across forests, plains, and river valleys in search of food, relying on wild animals, edible plants, fish, nuts, and seasonal fruits. Survival required an exceptional understanding of the natural world. Hunter-gatherers knew migration routes, recognized edible and medicinal plants, and adapted to constantly changing environments. Although their lives were physically demanding, archaeological evidence suggests that they often enjoyed diverse diets and greater leisure time than many early farming communities. Around 12,000 years ago, however, a remarkable transformation began. As the last ice age came to an end, rising temperatures altered landscapes across the globe. In the Fertile Crescent, a region extending across parts of modern-day Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and Israel, people began cultivating wild cereals such as wheat and barley while gradually domesticating sheep, goats, and cattle. Instead of depending entirely on nature's unpredictable generosity, humans started producing their own food. This transition was neither sudden nor inevitable. Agriculture emerged through centuries of experimentation and adaptation. Early communities discovered that seeds scattered near campsites often sprouted into new plants. Over generations, they selected crops with larger grains and higher yields. Likewise, animals with calmer temperaments proved easier to breed, eventually becoming fully domesticated. Through these gradual improvements, farming became increasingly reliable and productive. The benefits of agriculture were substantial. Cultivated fields produced far more food than hunting and gathering, allowing populations to expand rapidly. Permanent villages replaced temporary camps, and food surpluses reduced the constant uncertainty surrounding survival. As fewer people were required to obtain food, others could specialize in different occupations. Craftsmen made pottery and tools, builders constructed durable homes, merchants exchanged goods across long distances, and religious leaders organized increasingly sophisticated belief systems. Agriculture therefore created the economic surplus that made complex societies possible. However, modern research has challenged the idea that farming immediately improved human life. Early agricultural societies often suffered from poorer nutrition because their diets relied heavily on a few staple crops. Permanent settlements also created ideal conditions for infectious diseases to spread. Living in close contact with domesticated animals exposed humans to new pathogens, some of which continue to affect humanity today. The agricultural revolution transformed social organization as well. As fertile land became increasingly valuable, the concepts of private property and inherited wealth emerged. Food surpluses allowed some individuals to accumulate resources and power, creating greater social inequality. Governments gradually developed to regulate irrigation systems, resolve disputes, collect taxes, and defend farmland. In many respects, agriculture laid the political foundations upon which later kingdoms and empires were built. Its environmental consequences were equally profound. Forests were cleared for cultivation, rivers were redirected to irrigate crops, and landscapes that had remained largely untouched were permanently altered. These changes supported growing populations but also marked the beginning of humanity's long history of modifying ecosystems. Many environmental problems facing the modern world, including soil degradation, water shortages, habitat destruction, and biodiversity loss, can trace part of their origins to the earliest agricultural practices. Although the Fertile Crescent is often described as the birthplace of agriculture, farming developed independently elsewhere. Rice cultivation emerged in China, maize became the foundation of civilizations in Central America, potatoes transformed life in the Andes, and millet sustained communities across parts of Africa. These parallel developments demonstrate humanity's remarkable ability to solve similar problems despite being separated by vast geographical distances. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the agricultural revolution is its lasting influence. Every cultivated field, every loaf of bread, and every modern farming technique represents the continuation of decisions first made by ancient communities thousands of years ago. Today's advanced technologies, including precision farming, genetically improved crops, and artificial intelligence, are sophisticated extensions of humanity's earliest attempts to control food production. Historians continue to debate whether the agricultural revolution should be viewed as humanity's greatest achievement or its most significant compromise. It enabled population growth, technological progress, scientific discovery, and cultural development, yet it also introduced inequality, epidemic diseases, resource conflicts, and environmental pressures that still shape the modern world. Whatever conclusion one reaches, the agricultural revolution remains one of the defining turning points in human history. Long before industrialization or the rise of powerful empires, the simple act of planting seeds transformed the destiny of our species. As the world searches for sustainable ways to feed an ever-growing population, the lessons of this ancient revolution remain as relevant as ever.